Okay, this is my third and final attempt to try and wrap up greetings. Greetings from Thailand. I'm struggling with light, internet, everything here at the moment, but let's just have a quick, which is the best way to so you can actually see me. Let's go with that. Go with that. So yeah, greetings from Thailand. We are currently at the Elements Resort Krabi. It's a lovely little spot, and little Miss and Ellie are in the background there playing in the pool, and Ellie is due a massage in about 30 minutes. So this is going to be a 20-minute live, whatever happens, because my good lady deserves a massage. And I felt like there was some more I wanted to talk about on about why we world school and some of the challenges and some of the things that we're practicing or doing and preparing for in the future. Wanted to share those, and I hope to do it on Thursday and Friday. I knew this would be a big subject at the beginning of the week, which is why I didn't dump it all on you in one go. But we moved on Thursday, and then just couldn't make it happen Friday, Saturday. So here I am trying to wrap up with what I've got to. So I might go through this rapid fire, but I'm just trying to convey a few things to hopefully reassure you that whatever you're thinking about in this space, you're not alone. It's a vulnerable space to be when you make a big decision to home educate and homeschool, or in our case world school. And yeah, and you need all the help you can get, and that help will come from resources and places you don't expect, not necessarily from where you might want it, but it will come. It does exist. So I talked about our big motivation for doing for homeschooling was just to spend as much time with our child, and as you know from the breaking news earlier in the week, it's going to move from child to children, with number 2 expected after Christmas or Christmas New Year. So we simply just want to spend as much time with our wee ones for as long as we can. There's no right or wrong, and I'm not saying all that time's great time. You know, we butt heads on all sorts of things, and that's all part and parcel. But we want to spend as much time with them as possible. So that was the huge motivation. And then I talked about some doubts and fears around a decision like this, and what it means. You know, when you make a big decision like this, you're filled with self-talk around, you know, how you're going to do it. You know, you're not qualified as a teacher, you don't have the confidence to do this, and you know, what will you do? What about if your child's got special talents and things like that? How do you nurture those? These are all legitimate doubts and fears that I talked about, and there's no right or wrong. There's no guarantee of way you're going to deal with them, but there's no guarantee that the school system's going to deal with them either. So again, it's a decision. And then on part 3, I think, which I talked about on Wednesday, I talked about the biggest mistakes, and that's, you know, some of the things like comparing and labelling and thinking that the adult's got to come up with everything is, you know, one of the mistakes that others have told us about, and we're watching. And something I didn't talk about on Wednesday, but I wanted to before I wrapped up then, was how you know, this home education journey, you know, there's a few things that need to take place. So there's some learning, teaching, assessment, and parenting. They've all got to take place within the environment you create to make this happen. And the teaching one was something I missed a bit out what I wanted to say, which was, and it's just something we've been talking about with little Miss very recently. Her vocabulary is just expanding immensely, and she's going through that phase of why, and I remember when I was a kid, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but there's definitely a phase where when me and my younger sister must have been saying to my mum, why, and my mum's answer was Z, you know, that was the next letter. So my poor old mum, she was probably exhausted, and I mean, we parents, we're the same as you. You're probably exhausted most of the time. You live in a permanent state of exhaustion, and homeschooling definitely does not give you that relaxation, which is the reason why I will cut this dead to give Ellie the massage that she so deserves. So little miss is going through this phase of where lots of whys, lots of questions, and yeah, you need all the patience you can to be able to constructively be present to answer. So this leads me to the thing I wanted to wrap up on in the why and the how of world schooling for us, and the challenge that we're entering into. Not the challenge we've overcome, but the challenge we're entering into is about being the whole home education environment, unschooling environment, world schooling environment for us is of making sure of finding a way that is child-led and child-centered. And with the remaining 10 minutes that I might have, I'll see if I can get those quite short. As I say, I could probably talk a lot longer, but Ellie's getting her massage. So as soon as she starts walking towards me, I'm cutting off and giving her a massage. And then me and Ayla are going to have some pool time. The child-led, and that's making sure that we are present to Ayla's strengths and things that she likes doing and things she indicates to us that come naturally to her and build her confidence. And it's not about us dictating what she's going to do and how she's going to do it. And this takes a lot of restraint. And in our case, she's only 4.5. You know, she's not even in the full learning thing. But remember, we've committed to being learners from the moment she came out of the womb. We committed to being facilitators of learners. Sorry, I went off on a tangent earlier, but I was saying we're teaching Ayla that she's a teacher to us as much as we're a teacher to her. So that whole teaching environment is however you nurture it. So, and Ayla's swallowing this in these questions and answers. She now understands that Mummy and Daddy don't have all the answers, and that she can teach us things. And we're committed to, Ellie and I have been committed to lifelong learning long before Little Miss came along. But it's an important thing to be aware of, in my opinion. If you're a student of life and you're continually learning, then hopefully that will rub off. So Ellie and I sitting here with the answers. We don't have the answers, and we read a lot, we listen to podcasts a lot, we're constantly into how-tos, constantly learning new skills to try and make our way in the world, and in this case, remake our way in the world. New business, new life. It's a whole big steep learning curve, and so all of this is going on in the background while we're trying to raise our child and children. So we're teaching Ayla that she's our teacher. She's teaching us things as we go, and she sees that we're learning, and she plays a role in that. So this comes back to the child-led. We need to be present for what we see that she's gaining confidence in, what she likes doing, and anything that builds her confidence. And as I say, we butt heads on things, and it's not plain sailing, and we don't always interpret everything she asks of us. You know, she's got her own little personality, and it's a strong personality, and we're trying to encourage that personality to come through. We don't want to be knocking the stuffing out of her through views of the world that we have. We want her to be curious in her own way, and we don't want to be judge and juror of things that she's doing. She needs to establish her own beliefs and values. We've got what we believe the family ones are, and we try and educate within that environment. But we're trying not to really make that so narrow that she can't flourish with her own flavour of life. But she's only 4, so obviously there's a lot of responsibility, and she hasn't got free reign or anything like that, but we're trying to be present to that. Which comes to the child-centred part and being different from the child-led part. And the child-centred element is, you know, their overall well-being. So physical well-being, her emotional well-being, her spiritual well-being, you know, other aspects like that ensure that she is being well catered for of the things that she needs, until there comes a time that she doesn't need those. So there's a whole balance there. I think the one I was missing is the biggest one that people often talk about, is her social well-being. So that's making sure that she always has an environment that she can mix with kids. And that is one of our biggest challenges on the world schooling environment, is making sure that she has enough kids around her. And so finding the types of communities and the types of children that we want to hang with is a regular challenge. And so those are the 4 aspects of well-being that need to be catered for. So we think about all those things in the day-to-day decisions and where we're heading and places we go to, etc., etc. So I'm pretty sure Ellie's going to want to go for a massage any second now, and so I'm going to wrap up. There's probably more questions than answers, but this was just something we get asked a lot about, the home educating journey, the homeschooling journey, and I wanted to throw out some answers back. And they're not, as I say, they're not answers that come with a definitive end. This is a journey, and it evolves every single day, and we need to be present for being aware of the child-centered nature, being aware of the child-led nature. We need to be watching and seeing, picking up on cues and deciding what is best. And it's, as I say, it's a very fluid thing. And any time we feel it needs to change and a big life decision needs to take place, then we will make that decision. But right now the commitment is to go for gold, spend as much time with each other as we possibly can, and find whatever resources we need to make that happen. So I just repeat, you know where to find us. You can find us all across social media. If you've got any questions or just want a bit of encouragement, or just how we're handling a particular thing, just to put into your own research, please reach out. It can be a lonely journey when you make decisions that put you in a big minority. I say a big minority. What I mean by that is you're never alone, but you are a minority. So you know who you ask and what answers come back. You need to factor them all in for a variety of perspectives. So I will leave it at that, so that my darling wife-to-be can have a massage. Ailey, you want to come and say hello or say goodbye? I'm just whoever's watching. I have no idea who's watching. We've just been sharing while
Hi.
Yeah, actually I can see, I think Kirsten is watching. Hi Kirsten.
Hi.
Sorry you've missed most of this. I'm about to wrap up because why have I got to wrap up? What do we need to wrap up for?
Why is wrapping?
We've got to end it soon. Why have we got to end it? What's going to happen in a few minutes?
Mummy's going for her massage, and Dad's already had his.
Yeah, Mummy's got a massage book, so it's all part of the commitment and the balancing act of being child-led and child-centered. So yeah, I've got to wrap up because Mummy's due for a massage. You want to say hello? We're just about to say goodbye. So
Hello.
So,
Bye.
yeah.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
So,
Bye. Bye.
any questions, leave them in the comments, leave a message. We will happily get back to you. And I'm sure I'll follow up this. I'll try and put some links out next week that give you see, here's number 2. Number 2's coming.
Hey, Sophie. This is my little brother or sister in here.
affectionately known as Sibby, as in Ayla's sibling. So, okay. I would try and cover off some, I'll try and throw out some links that maybe give you some extra reading or some background information on some of the things I talked about earlier in the week. And yeah, and hopefully they'll help make sense and all those sorts of things. So yeah, sorry I had to cut this short, but massage for Ellie is a #1 priority. And but yeah, leave questions and I will happily pick up on this at any other time. So take care, Sunday, wherever you are in the world.